Hello there, and welcome back to My Reflection, a podcast where I reflect on my experiences in prose fiction class. This week, I have a Q&A from some loyal listeners, so pop your questions in the chat and I will answer. We have a first question here from Prose Queen 111. What are your expectations as a student during this course? Well, I expected to be equipped with the requisite tools to be able to teach prose in a way that is innovative and fun for my students. And I expected to learn from my lecturer, who's always insightful. Like many of us, I did prose in school. And although that was many years ago, I developed an appreciation for it ever since. Thus far has been nostalgic, but I hoped for this semester to bring new knowledge and experiences I didn't have prior. I know how to teach drama and poetry, but prose is a different genre of English B that needs a different set of tools. I also didn't want it to be a demanding course, as this was the shortest semester. So working on my own mostly was the goal. Next question from Kwan USA. Discuss two experiences during this course that had a positive impact for your teaching career. I like that question. Thank you for that question. Two experiences were firstly when I had to create my own activities to teach my students prose and listen to my colleagues' astounding activities. I definitely have an expansive knowledge of ideas on what effective methodologies to use based on that experience. One of my colleagues mentioned online games. And since technology is more commonly used even in the classroom these days, I think that will be an asset. But hearing from other people truly helped me to enhance my skills on teaching prose. The other experience was creating the lesson plan to teach. Now, there were quite a few tricks I learned from my colleagues and lecturer in terms of making the lesson more engaging. Like, for example, creating room for students to insert their own opinion in an evaluation activity. And this can really boost their metacognition and critical thinking skills. And this is what we want, for them to leave the classroom with a skill that will be beneficial to them for life. So the goal is to structure it in such a way that it will maximize their innate abilities to think and discover. I was reminded that I should not be giving them textbook definition and shoving information down their throats, but create more room for analyzation in my specific objectives. I think these experiences will make me an extraordinary teacher. Okay, we have one from Sarah the Boss 29. Identify one aspect of this course that presented a challenge for you and discuss how you were able to overcome this challenge. I like this one. This one is making me think. The challenge for me was keeping up with forum activities. Now, I did miss a forum task and I might lose marks for it, hopefully not a lot. But I'm so used to skipping them that I didn't pay attention. What this taught me was to check Moodle daily and to open all available links. With the new relaxed tutoring sessions, it can be easy to neglect your work when the lecturer says, "No class today." Truthfully, few of those days, I went to take a nap instead. But I would usually check afterwards to ensure I didn't have any readings or work to complete. That particular week, I did not check, so that was a lesson learned. I also got a harsh lesson on time management. Moving on to the next question from Nisa Shen. Which of the curriculum materials or learning activities discussed in this course did you find most engaging or appealing? Give a brief explanation. I love this one. I loved role playing, honestly. To dive deep into the attitudes and behaviors of the characters is phenomenal. This can be done by placing students in scenarios where they would have to make decisions as though they were that character and justify the reason for their decision. It emphasizes characterization in the story. If I say, act like Dorian York on a job interview, and a student chooses to be rude and hasty, they will have to tell me why and if it suits that character. Plus, the activity is incredibly engaging and entertaining. To step inside that character and understand better will help students appreciate the plot itself. Alright, Prose Queen has popped another question in the chat. As an aspiring English B teacher, describe one learning activity you create to teach one concept in prose fiction. Now, if I had to design one learning activity, it will be one called No Spoilers. This entails going through the story bit by bit and predicting the end. From the moment a student hears the name, they have to give ideas on what they think the story will be about, and on each step of the way, predict how it will end, and then see if their expectations were met in the resolution. The activity will make them pay keen attention to the plot, setting, character, and themes, as they will need those as clues to predict the end. In the story of the boy who loved ice cream, I was caught off guard by the events of the plot and the resolution. I thought it was going to be about a literal boy eating ice cream non-stop, because how do you know you love something and you haven't tried it? Instead, I was met with desire and insecurity. Then the plot ended painstakingly. Imagine a student being guided through the short story in a way that gives them the opportunity to bet on the end. That would be phenomenal. Okay, my time is running short, so I'll answer one more question from a new listener. Here's one from Andrew Tuku. Explore the extent to which your expectations for this course were met. I can say they were 100% met. I thoroughly enjoyed exercising my creativity and being critiqued by my lecturer. In addition, I learned so much from my colleagues when planning and executing the lesson with them. It was also great because I got to pace myself since it wasn't demanding at all. Yes, I did have my difficulties with procrastination and missing work, but those were a blessing in disguise to make me more accountable to myself and to strive for excellence always. I believe I now have the knowledge, tools, and a sense of self to teach prose to all schools in the world. That's the type of value no amount of money can buy. Well, that's all the time I have today. Thank you for listening, and join me next week for another episode on my reflection, where I talk about my experiences in prose fiction class.